Nowadays, the people have changed the way your CV looks. How many of you have more than 2 pages CV? And how many of you are with this more than 2 pages are the leaders who hire people? Just type in H in the comment box if you are hiring as well. If you are a hiring manager as well. Yeah? Would you like to see the CV which is longer? That's the question. Ideally, in the mid-career, if you don't want your CV to go to the dustbin, you need to create a professional CV, visual CV. I'll show you that. There is another type which is called the resume, which is the video resume. Now, this is the type which is not so popular in India, but it has started taking the interest from the recruiters, HR, and the owners, founders, especially in the startup world. People start taking the notice of the video resume where you can actually showcase yourself, your skill, you pitch yourself in that 90 to 120 seconds. Okay. Now, even if you are not able to do the video one, the minimum I expect from this community is to have the visual CV. Okay. And before we go to the visual CV, let me show you what are the different way you can do it. The first way is to understand what to put in the CV. Okay. And for that to have, I need to understand how many of you are married here. The point is, when we are choosing the partner, we are actually doing a lot of checking, right? You have a courting period, then you actually go out, have dates, and probably you try to find the compatibility with each other, whether it is a love marriage or arranged marriage in today's world. Okay. Now, why we are not doing with the career? Your job is nothing less than a partner, isn't it? In fact, your job eats more time than your partner. Correct? So the question is whether we are doing it. That's why you need to ask yourself is the compatibility. With who you will actually do the compatibility if you have to get the job? JD. Your JD and CV has to have a compatibility match. Compatibility match. So how will you know that it is compatible? Keywords, right? So 3 things which will actually tell you that it is compatible. Number 1, the keywords that is being used in your CV versus JD. That's number 1. Number 2, the industry domain functional role which you are expert in, and they're asking for that. Okay. Number 3 is the skill. There is a skill compatibility also needs to happen. Because if you apply for a vice president role with a sales and marketing skill, and you are a technology leader, no compatibility. Make sense? So your job is not transferable just because you feel that I am capable of doing it. Yesterday, I gave you one word. What is that? Perceived value gap. If your perceived value gap is higher, yeah, then you need to ask yourself a question that, okay, whether my JD and CV are compatible. This is the first test of your perceived value gap. Make sense? Yes, everyone? Now, the next one. Keywords. The keywords are the common words which are being used in the JD that should be reflected in your CV. Let me again tell you this. The keywords are the common words which are being used in the JD, yeah, that is reflected in your CV. Reflected in your CV. Okay. So you need to identify which are the common words being used, maybe in terms of your roles and responsibility, in terms of KRA, in terms of KPI, in terms of your functional responsibility. That's how the JDs are prepared, right? So you need to ask yourself whether I use those simple words which are mentioned in my JD in my CV as well. Why is it required? That's when your CV gets shortlisted in the market. Because that's where your ATS, application tracking system, reads those keywords and say, this is the word that is matching with your requirement. Clear so far? Yes, no? Yeah. Now, let me tell you some of the elements of the CV so that you can actually note it down. The number 1 element is the positioning statement in the market. Positioning statement in the market. That is, how do you position yourself? Now, I told you your positioning will require a little bit of work of understanding about your character, understanding about your career clarity blueprint, understanding about the skill gap. Okay. If you have not done any of that so far, or you have not probably bothered to do that after so many weeks and months here, then you're going to miss out that. Okay. So let me show you the professional CV. Okay. So this guy has clearly positioned himself with this. Strategic leader in managing multidisciplinary finance, account, project, logistic, analytics with over 18 years of experience in varied business category processing, exceptional communication, strategic agility, and the business planning and execution leadership skill, ensuring cost optimization and high profitability for organization growth. So which are the elements which are covered in this positioning statement? Which are the elements which are covered? What do I do? What do I do? Then what do I know? What do I do? What do I know? And how does it add value to the business? The underlining word is the business, not the role, not the function, not the domain, not the industry, business. Why I'm saying so much emphasis on the business itself? At the end of the day, your role has to align with the business impact. Do you all agree with that? Your role needs to align with the business impact that you're making. Rest of all the reason that you say, I do this, it has no meaning in the real world. All the roles need to align with the business impact. Even if you're an admin guy, even if you're a maintenance guy, even if you're a production guy, you need to ask yourself, what business impact am I making? If you do not know what business impact you are making, ask yourself what your boss is asking you for in numbers. What your boss is asking you for in numbers. Anything that he or she asks you in numbers. Okay? And how does it relate to the end customer? So there are typically the 3 or 4 tangible metrics that you can always see. Okay. Number 1 is your revenue. Everybody understand revenue? Yes, no? Yeah. Second is your profit. So revenue minus cost is profit. So profit. So if you understand this equation, everything will be known to you. Revenue minus cost is equal to profit. So your 3 impact will be revenue, cost, profit. Now, how will you reduce the cost? The cost can be reduced by various means. It could be your productivity. It could be the project management. It could be the budget management. It could be the resource management. It could be the talent acquisition. It could be the automation. It could be the cloud technology. Doesn't matter. Making sense, everyone? Now, so it's a very simple equation. If you remember it for yourself, that will give you the positioning in the market based on the impact that you create for your own role right now. Okay. Now, the second elements that you want to understand is about the relevant tangible achievements. What is it? Relevant tangible achievement. So I'll take you there one more time and I'll show you what he has done. Okay. After his contact details and everything, marshalling the change and innovation. He has put the key strength. You can put the key highlights, professional highlights, profile highlights, executive summary. You can give the name as it is required. Okay. And then you put marshalling the change in the innovation in your respective strength or your profile highlight, and then say this $400 million of annual global freight spend successfully migrated to 3PL payment activities. Is it tangible? Yeah, with a savings realization of 250K. Everything and anything which you cannot actually put in the tangible business impact is ignored by the people. Because for them, it is just the words. Numbers catch the eye. Do you all agree with that? Numbers catch the eye. How many of you read your appointment letter? Have you read your appointment letter? Yes. What do you see first thing in your appointment letter? You know the answer. Yeah. You don't read the what he has written or what HR has given you. Nothing. Go. Attack. Right? That's how they are also looking for. Why you are saying that they will not look for? Okay. That's the first aspect. So relevant, tangible outcome. Why did I say relevant? But it has to be relevant to the JD. If it is not relevant to the JD, it is of no use to anybody. Do you understand this? If it is not relevant to the JD, they are least bothered about your achievements. How many of you are writing a lot of roles and responsibility in your CV right now? Lot of roles and responsibility. How many of you are writing a lot of roles and responsibility? Is what I'm asking. If you don't know your CV, then you cannot answer that. Okay. Number 3, key relevant skill. Key relevant skill. So if you look at this CV, okay, you'll understand he has put his core competency over here. Core competency. He said process transformation, project management. Now your core competency or your top 5 skills has to have the tangible outcome. How many of you are bulb on? Your core competency, your top 5 skills or your top 5 core competency must have the tangible outcome. Otherwise, it cannot be in the top 5. Otherwise, it cannot be in the top 5. Imagine that you say, I know the project management well. Then you need to put that I handle the $200 million project worth 400 FTEs across 3 different geographies. That is what is called the number as a project management number. Do you understand this? Yes, no? Everybody understood this so far? Yeah. So your competence, top competence or your top skills need to have the relevant tangible outcome so that people understand that, yeah, this person is good in this and he has got the result in this. Now it is matching. Now it is matching. So that needs to be there in place. Then comes the next aspect, relevant certificate. How many of you have a lot of certificate? Some of you are rich in certificates. Yeah. Some people only live for the certificates actually. आज ये सर्टिफिकेट खत्म हो गया तो खुजली हो गई तो और एक सर्टिफिकेट ले लिया. लिंक्डइन में मिल रहा है फ्री कोर्स मिल रहा है तो और एक सर्टिफिकेट. How many of you are collecting a lot of certificates? Somebody's post comes says that I completed my generative AI. Generative AI मेरे रोल का दूर दूर से कोई संबंध नहीं है. Generative AI, अरे इसने किया तो मुझे करना ही पड़ेगा. Now you break your heads with the generative AI, even though you don't understand anything about generative AI. Like I don't understand anything about generative AI because I don't need to. It is not relevant. What is the word? It is not relevant. Okay. So you need to put the relevant certificate. Last is each skill match the achievement aspect. So as I mentioned, your top skills at least need to match the achievements. Okay. And look at this. He has already put the achievement operation management. That is what he has said, project management with the 400 million spend, 250 savings. Okay. He has actually highlighted the numbers because numbers catch the eyes. Okay. Then he has put the skills. He has put his all experience, IT project. If he is from the IT, then you put your IT certificate or IT know-how or technology, right? And then done. How many of you put the birth date, गांव का नाम, शहर का नाम, घर का number, पता, बाजू वाले का पता, and everything? Some people put the references. Some people also put the salary actually. Expectation is this. ऐसा लिख के ही रख देंगे. भैया ये है तो मुझे बुलाना वरना आना ही मत. Expectation is this. Okay. So you never get the call. And then you ask, Rakesh, मुझे call नहीं आ रहा है. क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? मुझे कैसे पता तुम्हारे CV में क्या लिखा है? Now, before we go ahead, we need to understand whether whatever CV I have created is probably making sense. So you need to check that. There are a lot of websites like jobscan.com. Okay. Jobscan.com. And where you will be able to understand how to scan your resume. That means you upload your resume, you add the job description, and it will give you the compatibility. What is it? Compatibility. Now, these are AI tools which reads the keywords and it actually show you the keywords-based compatibility. Okay. Please understand they are not going to validate your achievement matching with your JD. Do you all understand this? They are not going to validate your achievement with the JD. They are machines. So they can only give you based on the certain reading of your CV, whether the keywords are matching or not. So use this, but don't take it on a face value. You still need to go through the compatibility for yourself. Clear, everyone? You still need to go through the compatibility. Just don't rely on the tools which can give you, okay, my score is 85%. Why am I not getting the call? Because you're not matching it. That is why you're not getting the call. All right? Was it useful for you guys? Yes, no? Can I get some answers for all the people?